And by the way, look at the freaking scale. Look at the Watusi that's doing. And it's doing a crazy dance over there. All right, so you see where this is going, right? I'm not even sure I want to do this anymore. Oh, there's a big, tall, cold one waiting for me somewhere. Hey, I hope everybody's doing great. We are here, other than being punished by the sun. It's crazy hot, but that's okay because we have air conditioning because I'm ruined. Digressing. We're going to talk about body filler. I'm just about to the stage on the garbage Camaro to where I'm going to be wiping a whole stinking lot of filler. We've already done some, but we haven't done the main polyester surface enhancement material, aka Bondo. So that's a thing, right? Everybody calls it Bondo. Bondo is a trade name. It's a product name. Bondo has been plastered all over every type of body filler because that was the first one to come out actually in 1952. It was the first commercial replacement for lead as a filler and a repair material in the collision repair industry. It got a really bad reputation. And in some corners still has a really bad reputation because it doesn't do what lead does. It was used in the same manner as lead was used, and it got a bad rep because it would fall out because it's not meant to be that thick. It's a surface enhancement material. It's not a coating, it's a repair material. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. So what I wanted to show today was some do's and some do-nots about Bondo, about polyester surface enhancement repair material. So we've got a couple of different things over here. I'll walk you through the stuff. We've got some Evercoat products. There's Rage Ultra Extra, Optex, some fiberglass resin. We've got a glaze or a honey. We've got a flexible polyester. We've got an ultraviolet cure, a UV putty. And we've got these things, micro pinhole eliminators. So that's kind of the gamut of stuff that we're going to be running through. So first up, what is it? It's a repair material. It's not meant to replace the actual the skill of doing body work. It's meant to enhance and correct the surface. Now, a lot of custom car guys take it one step further, and they will perfect a body surface. And that's fine too, as long as you don't abuse the product. And I'm kind of going to show you some ins and outs of how not to abuse it, and also how to make sure that the experience goes right. So to start with, and I've got a little guide here. So that's what it is. And what it isn't, it's not fender in a can. It's not cave and pave. Don't use it like that. Get your bodywork skills up. Get your hammer dolly skills up. Get everything close. And then use body filler as a way to correct and perfect your surface, right? Just don't abuse it. No more than 1/4 of an inch total thickness. That sounds like a lot, but it's not. So anyway, that's where we're going with this. So let's look at the different types. This is an interesting filler, Evercoat Rage. It's the Ultra Extra. We'll talk about why that's important, especially on days like today. Now we've just got a premium filler, and now we've got a glaze. So it's kind of a two-part thing. We've got a regular Bondo, and then we've got a glaze, which is designed to level out, smooth out without pinholes, and it's a lot easier to sand. But because it's less viscosity, it's thinner, we can't ask as much of it. It can't build as much. And then we've got things like this, the Polyflex. This is designed for if you have to use filler on like a motorcycle fairing or a flexible part or a little impact strip on a bumper cover or a bumper cover. So anyway, and this, well, this is cool. We'll talk about this in just a sec. But I want to talk about a big thing. You see it on the internet. This Bondo sucks. Well, this one sucks, and that sucks, and this one's better, and that one's better. Here's something to really, it doesn't matter what filler that you're looking for. I'm going to show you something that is going to, that's the AC. It's going to really make a difference in how successful your body filler applications are. And that's how old your catalyst is. So you can see here, we've got a liquid hardener here, we've got a tube hardener, it's a BOP, benzoyl peroxide hardener here. This is another benzoyl peroxide BOP hardener. Most of them have the BOP hardener, and it looks like this. It's like toothpaste, right? Liquid hardener for fiberglass is MEKP, methyl ethyl ketone peroxide. It's liquid hardener, and it's designed for fiberglass products. However, Evercoat's version of metal-infused body filler takes a liquid hardener. It doesn't take the BOP hardener. So there's rule number one. Rule number one, right down here, rule number one, use the catalyst that came with your filler. Don't mess around. It's made for that filler. Today's body fillers are very sophisticated. The chemistry is very sophisticated. It's different than back in 1952. They make it better. And the catalyst is super important. It's like using somebody's clear coat and then reaching for another brand's catalyst to go, or activator, or whatever it is, to go into the clear coat. You don't do that. You stick within the brand. So rule number one, use the catalyst that came with the filler. Rule number two, check the date. What do I mean? Check this out. Right here, you see those numbers? It says 241895U. Yeah, this one says 221280 and then something. That's the date code. Why is the date code important? It's really important because this stuff has a shelf life. It's got a service life of 6 months to 12 months. If you think that's pretty vague, yeah, it is pretty vague. This stuff can go bad on the shelf. Right here on your body filler, 24, that's the year, 03002, third month, and I don't know what those sequences are, but I know that 24, that matches the year of manufacture. So these are getting long in the tooth, right? It's midway through 2025. It's more than a year old. It's questionable. Sorry, it's expensive to buy a gallon, but you may be using stuff that's out of date, especially when it comes to your catalyst. So let's do a little experiment here. Always a good idea to mix up your hardener in the tube, right? If it sounds squelchy, and this one sounds, I'll put it by my microphone. It sounds a little squelchy, kind of making fart noises. And you go to pour it out, well, it's a little bit on the runny side. That's not horrible. That one's okay. That one's okay. I opened one of these up like 30 seconds ago and it just spewed everywhere, so hang on. All right, so this is the tube I was after. So when I try and squeeze, and this is after mixing it, if I try and squeeze it out, look how it's separated. That ain't good, man. That's done. And this needs the round file. If your catalyst does this, don't ever use it. Make sure your catalyst is within range. What's that? Oh, it's a mixing board. I don't need to buy this mixing board when I've got this as a mixing board. This is a bad idea. Can you get away with it? Sure. When you put your filler out here, guess what happens? Everything that is in a liquid state that eventually turns to a solid state has solvent in it. This will pull the solvents down. There could be impurities in this cardboard. You're 100% going to have fibers coming off the cardboard getting into your body filler, and it's going to change the mix and the viscosity of your product. This is a bad idea. Now, there's going to be guys that are throwing their beer cans at the screen saying, I've done it that way for 55 years and I've never had a bad issue. Great. This is still a bad idea. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
And that's all I have to say about that.
So we have this ginormous mixing board. These things are really cool. If you've never seen these, and they've been around for a long time, these are peel-aways. Trying to think of who makes this one. Let's see, there's a manufacturer that makes these. Who is it? Who? Oh. So these, When you use them up, you peel them away, and now you've got a brand new clean mixing board. It's a really cool thing. If I have a giant repair piece, I'm going to mix on here. If I have a tiny little repair piece, I'm still mixing on this big one, and I'll tell you why. But first, we're going to talk about the mix ratio, the catalyst, how much catalyst to put in it. Now, before I did this video, I went online and just searched on the YouTube, and there's a lot of really great information on YouTube, and there's a lot of really misguided information out there on YouTube, and this comes directly from the manufacturers, right? It's 2% by weight. So all of these body fillers, except for that guy, because it doesn't require a catalyst, because it's UV cured, every single body filler, regardless of the brand, polyester surface enhancement material requires 2% by weight. We are going to use some scales, and I'm going to show you how to actually measure it out. But if you don't have a scale, and if you don't care to have a scale, Evercoat gives you a really interesting guide here. For a 2-inch puddle, halfway across. For a 4-inch puddle, 1 stripe all the way across. For an 8-inch puddle, 1.5 all the way across. That couldn't be any more simpler. It's not a guess. They've calculated that. And by the way, it's a 1/8 inch wide stripe across. Not a 1/4 inch, not 3/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, 1 stripe continuously. That's going to get you super close to 2% by weight. Now we do have a scale right here. Here's our scale. I'm going to show you exactly how to get a perfectly accurate 2% by weight on the scale. Put our board on here. Now we've got 1,383 grams. We're going to tear the scale. So now what we're going to do is pour out a little bit of filler. All right, we've got 108 grams. So what's 108 grams? Let's see. 108 times 0.020, nope. 108 times 0.020 equals, we should have 2.1 grams of catalyst. Now look at my stripe all the way across. So interestingly enough, so that is exactly precisely 2% catalyst add by weight. And when we come over here, we've got a 4-inch puddle, and they say to go a stripe 1/8 of an inch all the way across. That's going to get you close. So there you have it. That confirms it. So I can either do this every time, or I can weigh it every time, as long as we're having a consistent catalyst add between different batches. Why would I use a scale every time? If I'm doing an entire vehicle, and it's $1 million build, and I want the hardness, and the brittleness, and the durometer, whatever the words you want to say, of the body filler all over this whole entire vehicle, exactly, precisely the same, I'm going to weigh this right here every single time. And I know shops that do this. If you've ever seen body filler to where it's a bunch of different colors with the same filler, guess what? We've got contrast here. It's blue and the pink filler. And by the way, look at the freaking scale. Look at the Watusi that's doing of the air conditioning that's blowing right down on the body filler. So just like we don't weld in the wind because our shielding gas gets scattered all over the universe, if we're weighing out our body filler, be aware of your surroundings. Anyway, so that confirms 2% by weight. That confirms also that this guide is very, very accurate. And why we would use a scale, again, if we're building $1 million car and we want perfect consistency with our filler all over the surface, that's why we would do that. Now here's something I do want to say. When you're mixing paint, you can change the speed in which it dries by using a slower hardener or a faster hardener, or a slower reducer or a faster reducer. The temperature ratings are speed changers with your wet coatings. We don't have a slow catalyst or a fast catalyst with body filler. So your speed changer with body filler is the amount of catalyst that you can add. So typically we want to go right down the lane of 2% by weight. But if it's super hot like it's been today, I can go 1.5%, right? And put less catalyst in there and still get good crosslink. If it's cold like it's going to be in 3 months, hopefully, we can put 2.5% in and add a little more catalyst so it kicks over a little bit. So that's what I mean by speed changer. You can fudge with the rules just a little bit with your filler. Your speed changer is the amount of catalyst that you add. Don't go nuts. 0.5% each way. All right, good. All right, so we're going to talk about that in a second. And this is something, if you've ever heard me, or if you've ever taken any of my training, if you've ever heard me talk other than just basic general information about any paint product, you've heard me talk about the technical data sheet. These sheets tell you everything you need to know, including mixing ratio, proper application, what it will stick to, what it won't stick to, how to use it, even how to clean it up, and what to do if there's a chemical spill, blah, blah, blah. Check this out. These are TDS sheets. This is metal glaze. That's this one that we poured out here. And then Rage Optex. It's this guy right here. There's a part number, whatever. Metal glaze, 2-part. There's what it is. Approved substrates: steel, fiberglass, aluminum, sanded filler, galvanized steel, rigid to semi-rigid plastics, SMC, Corvette plastics, cured OEM finishes. That's important. That means paint. Cured and sanded 2K primer surfacer. It will go over everything and anything, and it's DTM, which means direct to metal. So this is a very, very sophisticated product that will stick to a lot of things. So let's go back down here again to preparation. Clean and degrease the panel, sure. Use 80 to 180 grit to scuff the paint and feather edge. So it's fairly aggressive right there. They want a nice tooth, a nice scratch. This relies on mechanical advantage. It relies on a mechanical bond. It needs a rough surface to link to, like that, only without the gloves and no stains on the gloves. It has to have that. Mix thoroughly until a uniform color is achieved. Average setting time, super important, 4 to 5 minutes. I always say 6 minutes, but 4 to 5 minutes right from the manufacturer. So we've got 4 to 5 minutes. Spread the layer over the surface, blah, blah, blah. All right, so sanding. Sand to 180 with 180 grit sandpaper. Not 40, not 36, 180. We're going to talk about how to mix this stuff. Now, once you blend it, you've got 4 to 6 minutes. So let's talk about what we're going to mix it with and what we're going to apply it with. I used to take a paint stick, a wooden paint paddle, and just stir it up, and then take my applicator and put it onto the work surface. That's a bad idea. And the reason it's a bad idea is because it can put air pockets in the filler. Look at these different spreaders. This is a one that comes with the U-pull body filler. It's a rigid plastic with a beveled edge and hard 90s. It's a good spreader. These are the ones that come with Evercoat. These are just generic ones that I get from my jobber store. Good friend of mine, Randy Felsky, uses one of these because he likes the metal blade, he likes the flatness of it, and he can get them in just down at the home center in any different width. This one is for drywall guys. I've seen guys use these for large panels. It's whatever you're used to, and kind of like a sanding block, you scale the applicator to the size of the repair. So typically I reach for one of these guys. Don't stir it in a circle. Don't flip it and flop it around. I'm going to show you something that you're going to thank me for, I promise you. We're going to show you the figure eights. You're going to come up here and keep your applicator on the surface. Give it a little bit of a cup and then do this. You see the figure eight pattern? What this does is it rolls it around without introducing air pockets into it. You can see how quickly it's blending. From about this point, that's when our timer starts. That's when the 4 to 5 minute timer kicks off. Now on a hot day like today, you might have a little bit less. So we're gonna be expedient here, but look how quickly, look how thoroughly the figure eights do the blending of the catalyst and the filler. All right, so common sense and natural wisdom says that we're going to put it all up here, just like the drywall guys do, in a big puddle, just like that. And then we can dip out of the puddle and then apply it on the work surface. But I'm here to tell you that's a bad idea, and here's a couple of reasons why. I'm spreading this side out very, very thin. Super thin. And this side is staying in a big puddle. Look here. You know what that is? It's an air pocket. There's 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 an air pocket. It's full of air pockets. This, if you spread it out thin enough, you eliminate the air pockets. Pretty simple. Because it's exposed to air does not make it kick faster. The fact that it's piled up is going to make it kick faster. And there's science behind that.
Science!
The catalyst and the chemical reaction, it's called an exothermic reaction, which means that it builds heat when it cross-links. So the higher you've got it piled up, the more heat it's going to build. And it literally, heat makes it cross-link faster. So when you pile it up like this, you're going to actually lose part of your application window. So we've got a point and shoot right here. Let's see, that's 84 degrees there. And that's 95 already, right? Same mix, right? So we're 84 all the way over here. Again, now it's starting to rock and roll, baby. We've got, now it's 100 degrees. It's 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 85 degrees over here. So right there, that tells you spread it out thin, you're going to buy some time to apply this product. It's still not going to completely save you. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. This stuff, green means go. The chemistry in here, when it turns green, that tells you that it's ready to sand. So right here, again, same batch, right? This is still gray. That's green. Spread it out thin, you'll thank me. You'll thank me. You'll get another minute to 2 minutes, maybe even 3 minutes work time out of this stuff if you spread it out thin, and you're going to have less air pockets. 153 degrees, 164, 160. So there's another thing too. Everybody says, oh, you apply a bunch of Bondo right to bare metal and it's super, it's going to develop rust. Well, at 160, 175 degrees, you could very well sweat that metal. And it could introduce moisture just by pulling moisture out of the air, and it could instigate that. Whoo, that's warm. 190, look at that. I'm not kidding. That's 202 degrees, 210, 211 degrees. So it ain't doing you any favors when you pile it up. I'm just saying. That was fun. That was like, I feel like Mr. Wizard or something. My point is you buy yourself time. So there's that. All right, so what I'm not going to do is put this in the trash can until it's completely cooled down. So now I want to talk about applying and about application. We're going to use the same filler, and I've got a little spot prepped over here. So this is sanded to 180, which is within the rules of the TDS sheet. It says 80 to 180, and this is on paint, which again is legal. And I've actually dented this panel up. We can't really see it, but you'll see it when I start to apply the filler. So we're 180 all the way around here. A guy named Jackie Carter taught me this technique, because your repair always grows, right? The damaged place is right here, and you'll see that again, like I said. But we're going to be feathering this material out into the surrounding painted area, and I've got 180 grit sanding scratches here. So this is 320. What I'm going to do is just feather out past my 180 scratches, about 2 inches past, just in case I go crazy and my repair area grows. I've got mild enough scratches that I can actually do paint prep on. My primer is going to stick to them. and I've got room and an appropriate grit to feather out into. So that for me is always step one. It's not just about the size of the repair. It's about figuring out how to manage around the repair also. So now we're ready to apply the filler. So we're going to go back to our metal glaze. I don't need very much. So I'm going to go halfway across like that. Again, we're going to do the figure eights. And just in a couple of seconds, it's blended. It's blended really nicely. You don't see any streaks. Because remember, that timer's ticking. We've got 5 minutes maybe. All right, so now we're ready. So I'm going to spread this out super thin. That's going to eliminate or control pinholes. Now my first wipe on this fender, I call it a primer coat. Now what I'm going to do is grab a little. I always go top to bottom. I let gravity help me out. And I do what's called a tight wipe. And it jams it down in to those areas. And now I'm going to come back, and now that I know I don't have any air pockets or pinholes or voids in there, now I'm going to wipe from the top down. And make sure that I've got my material on there. I always have to fight the urge to keep on grading the road. But I know I've got enough material there. So that on the bottom is just to control it. I know I don't have any damage up here, so I'm going to clean that up. And just come in here. I just like to clean up the edges. And it's starting to pull a little bit. You can see it started to mute, the shine is gone, and this right here, another reason to wear gloves, it started to get grainy, right? It's less creamy, and the more I mess with it, my point is, if you keep dragging your spreader across the top of it, when it starts to get grainy like this, you're literally going to open it up and open it up to air pockets. You don't want to do that. So we're going to leave it alone from there. So another reason to wear gloves is to clean the spreader off. So I'm just using a solvent here. And while the filler is still kind of soft, it comes right off of the spreader. Gives me something to do while the filler on the panel is drying. And if I'm occupied doing this, I'm resisting the urge to poke my finger in it to see if it's dry, which is another reason that I like this stuff, because it turns green. Now right here, I can tell how dry it is by what color it is. So kind of a cool thing. So we're just going to let it sit, wait till it turns green. All right, so our fillers turned green. That's 91 degrees. Let's go check the fender. It's green also. It's 91 degrees also. Okay, so it's ready to sand. It feels a little smucky. So this is just one of the things that there's, as it's drying and curing, resin and solvents come up to the top. I always like to wipe it down with some clean lacquer thinner, and it keeps from loading up your sandpaper on those first couple of strokes. So that's just thinner. Just let that evaporate. So now we're going to block. This is not a blocking lesson. This is a demonstration on filler, and I will talk about a sanding block to a point, but again, this is not a video on how to block sand. That's coming. But I want to talk about this. So I've got 80 grit on this sander. So now we're ready to sand. I like to use a guide coat. What I like to use is, I like to use the dry guide coat. The reason being is that I have one product and it goes on dry, but even if I'm wet sanding, the dry guide coat will stick onto the surface. Now, this is a spray guide coat. It's not black paint. It's flat black color, but it's actually a guide coat. Evercoat makes this. There's almost no resin in this, so it's not going to gum up your sandpaper. Now this is paint. It's black. You could spray it on there and use it for a guide coat, but it's paint. It's got resin in it, and it's not the best thing to use for guide coat. If it's all you've got, okay, but use the guide coat if you're going to be guide coating. So here's the beauty of a guide coat. Shows me contrast, shows me where I've leveled it off, and it shows me where my low spots are, right? So I'm just going to do one corner over here. All right, so a couple of things here. Right here you can tell exactly what I'm sanding with. I'm sanding with this leading edge and the flattest footprint of this sanding block. I'm not doing linear sanding. I'm not using the toe. It's not up on end. It's the flat footprint. If I want to make this surface flat, I have to use a flat piece of equipment, and I have to do it in a way that keeps it flat on the surface. So that's why we do an X pattern. Keep the block in a linear format based off of the fender, and use the flat footprint of it. So what do we have? We've got a flat surface here. Look how milky and translucent those edges are. That's how you can tell if you've got a nice feathered edge. Look down here, right where my fingertip is. You see that? That's a hard edge. That means it's a shelf. That means it's not flat. So our goal is to get this entire piece to look like that. Pretty simple. So now we're ready for the next step, which is what? Which is, unfortunately, more sanding. So that's 80 grit scratches. Now, there's not a primer on the planet that really likes to sit on top of 80 grit scratches. Your technical data sheets on your primer will tell you 180 to 220. So we're going to switch to 180, which is what I've got this block loaded up at. So I've got 80 grit scratches here and here, all over here. I don't want to ask my wet coatings to sit inside those 80 grit scratches. So I'm going to sand with 180, right? How do I know that I got my 180 grit or my 80 grit scratches gone? I'm going to guide coat. If you change paper, re-guide coat. And also, I'm going to rub it all into these scratches all over the place. So, again, this is not a bodywork lesson. I'm just showing proper filler application. You can really see those 80 grit scratches. You can also see the crosshatch of my sanding pattern. So right here, the scratches are gone. We've still got a milky smooth edge. All the guide coat's gone over here. We've replaced all of these 80 grit scratches with 180 grit scratches, which gets us ready to the point to where we're now ready to put wet coatings on, to put a high build primer on top of that and finish the repair out with wet coatings. This was a small area. Let's talk about enormous areas. If you're working a large panel or doing a whole custom car, or a minivan, or an RV, or the side of a pickup truck, or a small school bus, or a fiberglass camper shell, or the roof skin on a Chevy Nomad, or an 18-wheeler doghouse, or I said RV, or the hood panel on a Corvette. If you got a large panel like that, and you got to work a large area, and you got 5 minutes to spread it out, that's a tall order. You're going to be working your butt off, and you're not going to be able to do it. You couple that with a day like today when it was 100 degrees outside, and that cuts your work time in half. Temperature works against you with polyesters. So what do? Well, there's extenders. I don't have one here, but there's stuff you can pour into the fillers and make them last longer. I don't like playing Mr. Wizard with anything. So a guy told me this trick a long time ago, and I'm going to show you what it is, and I'm going to tell you why it's absolutely wrong. This is fiberglass resin. So here's our regular body filler. Here's our fiberglass resin. This is a polyester. This is a polyester. So it makes sense that I can blend the two. And when I add this to this, it does extend the open window, and it gives it more of a property of something like this, which is a glaze or a honey, and it lets it flow out a little bit more. So with the larger open window, a lot of flow out, less viscosity, there's less air pockets. So it seems like a pretty good idea, right? It's a bad idea, and here's exactly why. This is a BPO catalyst. This is benzoyl peroxide hardener. This requires MEKP liquid hardener. It's a different catalyst. You cannot use this and get a proper crosslink with this product. Thereby, you cannot use this with this product and get a proper crosslink. So you're introducing two chemicals that are activated by a different substance. So I did use this a couple of times, and I won't ever do it again. And that's why it's incompatible chemistry. So keep that in mind. So you always want to use compatible products and chemistry. So that brings us back to it's dang hot, or I've got a huge surface to work and I only have 5 minutes to work. There's another product that I want to show you. It's this stuff. This is Evercoat Rage Ultra Extra. I didn't know about this until a while ago, a short while. And the interesting thing about this is that it's got a crazy long work time right here, up to 40 minutes of work time. And what that means, it's like a pot life with liquid stuff. Your work time is the amount of time to where you've got usable viscosity. So you can mix this up, catalyze it, blend it, and you've got 40 minutes to flow it out over a full quarter panel, a door skin, a large surface, the hood of that Corvette I was dreaming about. Then this stuff is made for that. There's a payoff for that, and the payoff is it takes about 2 hours of sitting before it's sandable. It's got a crazy long window. You can work it down and it will flow out and self-level if you're doing an entire roof skin or, like I said, huge panels. But you got to wait at least 2 hours before you can start sanding the filler. So what Evercoat has done is come up with a blend ratio. We don't want to blend this and this, but we can blend this and this because they use the same benzoyl peroxide catalyst. They've got a chart right here in the back of the technical data sheet. You've got Rage Ultra and Rage Ultra Extra. So if you want, there's your degrees and your different work times, 6 minutes at 60 degrees, whatever. There's your 100% Rage Ultra, and it kind of goes down here. So you can mix it 75-25, 50-50, 25-75, or 100% Rage Extra Ultra. And when we go down here, at 60 degrees, we've got an 80-minute work time. Holy smokes, man. At 75 degrees, which when all of this stuff is measured, it's all in perfect temperature. 75 degrees, again, you've got a 40-minute work time. 90 degrees, well, it cuts it in half, 21 minutes. 105 degrees, 13 minutes. So if it's so stinking hot that this stuff is kicking before you get it onto the repair area, there's another reason to have a can of this stuff in hand. If you want to cocktail and blend and pay attention to your your temperature, if it's the fall of the year, the spring of the year, that time of year when temperatures are changing, this might be the answer to a problem that you're having with application. And this stuff, I've used this on large panels, and it seems like it's not going to kick because it stays open so long. But this is the solution. This is the solution for that problem. It's not that much more expensive than regular filler, and if you're faced with either a huge project or big temperature swings, seriously consider the Rage Ultra Extra. And also, with all of these products, go to the TDS sheet. You don't have to download it and print the internet like I am, but go to your phone, get your TDS for whatever product that you're using, and it just has all the reminders that you're going to need for proper use, so you don't get disappointed. So you don't start saying this Bondo sucks. It's not Bondo, it's polyester surface enhancement material. Or this Bondo sucks, or this one sucks, or something. Nothing sucks. What sucks is the bad decisions that we make. Sorry. So, we're going to talk about another product. This is called 440 Express. When we have pinholes in a surface, like body filler, you can't help it, man. You're going to have pinholes. And sometimes you're going to have some of those deep voids and scratches that you have left behind. There's a couple of different ways that you can repair pinholes. One of them is with a razor blade. You mix a small amount of filler and you just kind of trowel it in with a razor blade. Or you can use something like this. This product is a 1K. There's no catalyst in it, and it's designed to be wiped in to the imperfections, the pinholes, and we're going to actually show you exactly how to use it. I've got a project going. It's a first-gen Bronco. It belongs to John Melton. He runs the Nashville Early Bronco channel on YouTube, and it's a cool thing. So we're going to go down there. I've got some open filler that I haven't done the 440 Express on, and we're going to show you how to use that stuff, and it's pretty cool. So let's go down to the other shop. And this is the shop with the toolbox next to the side cabinet, that the second drawer has the screwdrivers with the one missing handle was next to the other flat surface that has the box of Clecos. All right, so this is the hood and the brow of a 70s early Bronco. This thing is pretty freaking cool. It's on a completely original Bronco chassis. It's been powder coated. Everything's brand new. These are just roller wheels. It's a brand new Dennis Carpenter body from Tom's Off-Road, and it's really nice. So we're getting ready to prime this and paint it, but we've had to do a little bit of filler work here and there, and I'm going to show you how this 440 Express works. Now, like I said, it's a 1K, doesn't require a hardener. You just put a little bit onto the applicator, and then you work it into the surface. And it's a micro pinhole filler. What that means is that it is going to find those dark voids in those pockets. So you work it in with the applicator, and you can see right there, that one popped up, that one, that one, that one, that one. And since there's so many, I'm going to give it a second go. This stuff dries in the regular atmosphere, and it dries really fast, and it has great build properties. The sponge in the applicator smooths it out around it. We're not done, but now that's filled up all of those voids, all those pinholes. So we let that sit probably about a minute. I've got some 180 paper on a soft block. I don't want to change my body work, right? I've already sculpted this stuff. This stuff is exactly what I needed to do. Just open it up a little bit here to bring it out here, just nice. I don't want to reinvent the wheel and apply another coat of filler. That's not what we want to do. So this stuff is a godsend because it fills that stuff in. And when you prime over top of that without addressing those spots, you're faced with two decisions. You can try and fill those places up with primer. It's not a filler. Or you can just let them go, let it dry, block it, and then deal with it afterwards. And that's still not the best operation because you then have to reprime it. This is the way to go about this stuff. So I've been running my mouth for about a minute. So now all we do is just knock over top of this just to get any stand up that the 440 Express might have had. Not change the bodywork, not change the shape that I work so hard to achieve. And now when I prime that, we're not going to have that porous look. That's all going to disappear. And that's how to use this product. And since I found out about that stuff, I hardly ever don't use it. Rare circumstances, I won't use it. It's a really kind of a cool game changer for me. And if you've ever run into that situation when you primed a bit of body work and it looks like the moon or 1,000 pinholes in it, it kind of sucks. And it kind of makes you have to second guess yourself and re-repair an existing repair. So think about that 440 Express. I'll show you another version of it also. That's the Evercoat one. I love Evercoat products, but there's another one out there as well if you can't get your hands on the Evercoat one. So let's go back up. I want to show you that product. This is from U-Pole. This is, again, it's a pinhole eliminator and sealer. So it comes in a foil pack, so we can mix it up, make sure it's blended. The way I like to apply this, the sponge applicator is fun, but this one doesn't have it. This is a lint-free towel, not a paper towel, because they come apart. So I take a lint-free towel and get a little blob on there, and let's just take it over here. And this is basically what we do over here. So I just like to work it in circles and use the rest of the towel to wipe off the excess. And again, same difference. We're going to let it skin over and dry, and then we'll sand off the excess and just open it back up again so it's ready for our wet coatings, our primers. Now this putty is fascinating to me. It's really interesting. This is a 1K, meaning you don't add a catalyst to it, UV ultraviolet cure putty. It's a finishing putty, and it works really great. As a matter of fact, the same company has this. This is a 1K UV primer, and I sprayed it on the inside of Derek's OBS truck tailgate. 3 fat coats, dragged it outside, and it cured in the sun. You don't add a catalyst because the catalyst is made into the product. So you notice this. It's a black package. When you take the lid off, the plastic is completely black. That's to keep any sort of a light source away from it. The really interesting thing about this is that as long as it's not exposed to the right light level, and that level is measured in nanometers, it has to be 365 to 400 nanometers. As long as you don't have that light level with it, it'll never activate. So in the right circumstance, we could have a little amount like that. We can work it in just like a putty. Where this is really interesting is on things like rock chips, because once you throw the right light level at it, 30 seconds cure, full cure, not just dry to touch, cured all the way through. And it's really powerful technology because you can keep it away from that light level and have an unlimited work time, and as soon as you throw the right light at it, it cures. Very common in auto body shops. A lot of different paint manufacturers have UV cure products because the cycle time is so quick. There's some precautions. These are the glasses that you need. They're UVA glasses, the orange ones. You don't want to have bare skin when you're using one of these lights. Now, I'm going to show you the light, but I'm going to also show you a very inexpensive alternative. So this is one of my UV Cure light kits. It comes in a cabinet. It's got the little transformer here, extension cord, and the light bulb itself. So I'm not going to turn it on because I don't have the proper PPE and I'm not suited up for it. I'm not ready for it to go. This light, it's not cheap. This is kind of expensive. This is like $600. And you need the proper UV light level to properly cure these things. They do make a handheld light, but again, they're kind of spendy, they're kind of expensive. If you don't have a light, I'm going to show you what works. All it takes is natural light. Look up there. That's the sun. A few minutes out here and you're going to achieve a full cure with these UV light products. Even on a cloudy day, you're still going to get that light spectrum, that light level, the 365 to 400 nanometers, because all the nanometers are there under this light. So you don't have to have the expensive shop light. You can just take your stuff outside. Pretty cool. Now this part of the equation, the actual product, not that expensive. do some Google searching on UV cure fillers, primers, and putties, and you're going to see all kinds of stuff. And the Spraymax company is one that I actually like. I've used several of their products in the past, and they have good stuff. So I just wanted to kind of, if you're not aware of that, make you aware of it, and also the alternative of something like this with an unlimited open window until you put the right light at it. It's a very versatile tool, and it's something that I reach for pretty often. So our goal here at Paintucation is to help. We want to help you guys either not experience the mistakes that we've made along the way, or if I could teach you how I got past the mistakes and figure out how to solve the problems that all of this stuff gets you. So I hope this helps you applying body filler. And I hope that the next time you see me applying body filler, we're smoothing out a big fake 70 Camaro. So thank you for watching, and if you got any questions, let me know. And thanks for participating in the trivia questions, and yeah, hope you got a kick out of that last one. So the other thing is this: if you want a deeper dive in body filler, application, primer, blocking, different types of priming strategies, what to use, when to use it, Paintucation 101, Paintucation University course. It's a really in-depth study. If you're interested in that, great. If you want shorter form videos, all the classic Paintucation videos, we've got them available in DVD or streaming, and we've got classes on a bunch of different things. So like I said, if you want to take a deeper dive, you want to get your skills up on some of these things, check us out at paintucation.com. The link's in the description, and if not, have fun with us on YouTube, and we will see you next week.